Happening now, members of the House Legislative and Congressional Reapportionment Committee are hearing public testimony on proposed district lines.
Every 10 years, the state legislature must redraw congressional lines as well as state House and Senate districts based on new census data.
Fox 5's Claire Sims joins us now live from the state capitol. And Claire, there was a lot of talk about the eastern part of the state, right?
Yeah, many of the people in this afternoon's committee hearing were there to share their concerns about how the proposed map divides up Coweta County, and that included the lawmaker who currently represents that area.
Coweta County is suffering a significant change to our community of interest.
State Representative Philip Singleton asks members of the House Legislative and Congressional Reapportionment Committee to reconsider the map proposed for his district. Singleton lives in Sharpsburg. Under the redistricting proposal, Singleton's district, which currently includes most of the eastern part of Coweta County, would be divided up into 5 other House districts and combined with parts of Douglas, Fulton, and Fayette counties. Suzanne Brown of Peachtree City questioned whether it was a personal vendetta against Singleton for joining a lawsuit against the state over the use of Dominion voting machines.
I mean, the lines were drawn to include his house. Why would you do that? Why would you rip him out of his district? That's just not right.
State Representative Bonnie Rich, the committee chair, says they must follow federal law when redrawing district lines.
The population is what drives this whole process. Population changes, and every 10 years we have to redraw the lines, and we have to follow the United States Constitution to make the districts roughly equal to each other. We also have to follow the Voting Rights Act.
But Representative Singleton says while there has been a lot of talk about protecting communities, counties, and incumbents, this proposed map doesn't do any of that in Coweta County.
So my district grew by about 3%, I believe,
okay.
My specific district. I know that under this current proposal, about 30,000 Coweta citizens are going to be drawn. They're no longer be they're going to be drawn into those districts that go into Fulton County, which is a significant number.
There were also several people who expressed concerns during this afternoon's meeting about the speed with which lawmakers are going through this process. That latest map was released to the public just an hour before this afternoon's meeting began. That committee will hold their next meeting tomorrow at 11 a.m. We are live outside the state capitol. Claire Sims, Fox 5 News.
All right, a lot at stake. Claire, thanks very much.